Yeah. Okay. So now this week, summary. The other day at Dixon, and the police are now doing. They're doing cosmetics-based accostings. Although, you'd be stupid not to go, well, my YouTube channel. And he goes, you're not a. One of them recited a joke. It wasn't funny at all. There was a bald officer to the right and a guy with a mustache to the left. And one of them tried to recite a joke. And I had said that I'd heard a joke about gay men wearing mustaches. And then I noticed during the moving of me to the paddy wagon, the officer with the mustache was exuding force at body points below the rib cage. Now the other one on the right, the bald one, he was trying to I kept saying, you need to present the warrant, you need to present the warrant. If you're not here with a warrant, there's already prosecution awaiting you for aggravated assault. So these ones would probably be getting their ecstasy mixed in with bits of, like, I reckon you know how they say that every good drug cook has an insignia. Roger Toll would put a single sperm to two sperm cells within ecstasy that he gives to police officers. It gets him away from, well, it means he can alternate to becoming a pedophile. And so every single watch house detention hit ever, absolutely every single one ever, as you can find record, has occurred without the provisions of any pain medication, withholding of all pain medication, and with them inflicting pain along the way. There's also concepts, I think, beyond their literacy for that make them asking me if I think I'm the Joker. Stupid questions on their behalf. But what you find is that, whether it's at the watch house or whether it's dealing with the dispatched officers, if you say I have a problem with you guys, they'll try and segue the question so that it's to go from a department. Are you talking about our department? To are you talking about our officers as people? And I haven't got obviously never have a fucking interest in any of their officers as people. They're a little bit too, they advance a little too strong for my tastes. Now, but they do this very flippantly. Do you have a problem with us? Oh, but that's not my personal section. To the effect that you find that they're relegating liabilities to a non-entity, which is exactly the situation you would expect to wind up in if you're dealing with religious police officers in the first place, because the dog doesn't exist. and they can be at various stages of coming to terms with how their dog doesn't exist. But actually, the mystery is of how their dog doesn't exist, and yet they were made in the image of the dog, bewilder even me. So essentially, these warrants, the suits for aggravated assault, corresponding records at the Calvary station. The AFP is to be charged with aggravated assault for that. What they're trying to do is say that I had no province phoning 000 and threat to property or a vulnerable person are two criteria for phoning 000 for anyone at any point in time. They're trying to charge me with phone 000, and then they're putting off the hearing for the phoning 000 hearing through to like May, then August, then December, then they just keep reshuffling it when it's stupid. When it's stupid, and the behaviour of their officers have constituted their behaviour patterns to establishing them as more than an emergency. But yeah, so what I think everyone could learn from this is that if you find police doing this double talk where they're going, I mean, if speaking to an attorney who can subpoena their whole department and get all the officers' names, I would recommend doing it. Recover enough to do it and then do it. Because it's probably just religious kicks that they get from going, well, oh, do you have a problem with me, the guy using force against your person right now? Or our department? Or, either way, I'm quite within my rights to not like cops. I've explained extremely well-established reasons why, if your every move is a violation of, and your every thought a violation of the Religious Discrimination Act, then right then and there is enough reason not to like cops. If you peddle around concepts like free will while thinking you can blame artists for psych profiles, then another reason you don't believe your God gave any sort of free will. I've already discussed why that's an incoherent concept, because if God had all power and all knowledge, then there could be no free will. He'd have designed all of his little tests in contrivance. But anyway. So that's that. So the craziest part was that bald copper to the right, not the one with the mustache. It was the bald one that made the joke first, and I said I like the joke about how only gay guys grow mustaches. And then as the wagon arrived, it was the mustache guy who was applying force against my feet and leg below the rib cage, if you remember your Bibles. So then I'm having a mental blank about the fucking other thing. Oh yeah. So this is in the Dickson car park adjacent from the Dixon church. And the bald cop is going, why aren't you taking... He puts one kneel up, like the Roger Tor, like, I want a knighthood thing. He's got one kneel up going, why won't you obey my command? And as he did it, he had his butthole pointed right at the children's playground at the kids' playground of the Dixon church. And I said, well, I can remember being that age, and like I used to read Cluedo, a lot of Cluedo books, and you would come across the term private eye, but I think that you have put a whole new spin on it, the way that you was pointing at those kids' playground, innit? You've put a cheeky new spin. A cheeky new spin on the word private eye, officer. What do you imagine the kids in that playground and think, looking at you and setting the date? Set your dates. Set your dates for Officer Pig Vomit.